I always just remind myself, it's a privilege every time you get to play and captain the All Blacks. I enjoy doing it, and to have done it for as long as I have, I guess I've had a huge sense of enjoyment and learned a lot doing it. And to get to 100 is something that obviously quite proud of. But I guess you can't do it without a good bunch of people around you. That's something I always bear in mind. I had no idea what I was doing back then, I'll tell you. But I think what you learn is, I think when I started, probably more learnt this when I was started in 06, was it felt like I needed to have all the answers, know it all myself, and always be the guy talking. It felt a little bit like that. But I think as time goes on, you become more comfortable. You don't feel. I think the big thing is not to feel threatened by other people being able to lead. And I think if you're the good ones, and you see you're the ones that have a pretty strong bunch around them, that's what I've been lucky to have.
It's a massive deal, isn't it? It's huge to play 100 tests for your country, let alone captain them. So he doesn't want to make any deal of it, really. Just a typical man he is. But most games, or at some point in some games, especially big games, you'll see him fly into a ruck, or you see him and come out with the ball the other side, or he's got no regard for his body, I guess. And when you certainly see that from your skipper, there's you kind of have to follow.
He's a guy you can rely on to do the right things for the team, as opposed to think about himself first and foremost. He thinks about the team first. Well, I remember the first time I saw him, he was playing for Otago boys versus Rotorua boys at what was then Lancaster Park, and I walked off and went into Chewy's office and said, how much he costs, just get him. This kid's special. And Toddy and Ruben and Razor and Angus Gardner come to me at one point and said, look, if he comes into another ruck and pinches another ball, we're going to snot him. And I said, well, you snot him, I'll be snotting a lot of you. So leave him alone, he's only a baby, and just look after him and get there quicker than he is. So he started setting standards at training because he made it real, and he didn't know any different. That's all they did when they were kids. He just got in there, and I had to go to him quietly and say, look, just let them win a couple, would you? You're starting to piss them off.
I just sort of remember, I don't know whether he's sulking, but it was like, you can either man up here and go and get on with it, or sort of drift away and sort of remember that experience as something that you couldn't handle. And I guess being the person I am, that was, as soon as I thought like that, I thought, well, there's no way I want to do that. So I sort of got over it and got on with it. I think it's just become the norm. The little extras you have to do in terms of you perhaps think about the team a little bit more than you perhaps would just without. But then again, I'd be doing that anyway, and I find myself, say for Crusaders, for example, where I'm no longer haven't been captain there, you still think the same, you still want the team to do well, and you think like that anyway. So in terms of if I was in this team not being captain, I think I'd do exactly the same, really. So it's just, as I say, it's been longer doing it than not, and it's just the norm, really.